Not forward, not forward. Not that. Not that. You've got to yield. Forward, good deal or bad deal. Now, at what level of firmness, especially when it comes to training horses that have got undesired behaviour, have learnt the wrong things about a human, at what level to try and help that is too firm? And at what level can it be, considered not only too firm, but abusive maybe? And that's what this video is about, guys. So firstly, I'll paint a picture of the visit, and when you see the video, what's taken place up to that point. So me and Tanya have turned up to this visit. I mean, it is several hundred miles from home. It's a lot of the visits we do are further afield, and we've turned up. My brief it's a very, very different brief, actually, a different kind of visit, and Tanya's quite excited about it. Basically, there's a pony that's petrified of a mountain block, will not stand still, and this little girl whose pony it is has seen how skittish and violently moving away from the mountain block a pony can be, and has become very fearful, and she won't get on. I mean, it's completely changed everything. She won't get on. It's been a long time since she's ridden because of this, and my brief is to not only teach this little pony to feel okay at the mountain block and be got on and off quietly. My brief also is to try and use my confidence. This is what this little girl's mom thinks could happen, that my confidence could help change this pattern and get this little girl back on board. Now, it wasn't filmed, obviously, because of a minor, although we did have a little clip sent to us some days later, and things are on the up, thankfully. What you've been watching so far is the little clip that we were sent. This is after my visit, practicing, and we were told how fantastic things were going. So that's what you're actually watching, is this little girl that we didn't film, but this clip was sent to us. If you can imagine now, I've trained this horse, and there's another girl there, very confident girl, who's getting on and off for me, and things are very good. Basically, I made our idea, this pony's idea, and got the fear away from the pony, and everything's good. It was time for the nerve-wracking bit, really. And honestly, you could have heard a pin drop, and I said to everyone, start talking, please. Don't all just hold your breath now. And although there was some tears to start with, very apprehensive, I used that confidence, and let me tell you, it's all on the outside, really. Although I'm showing real confidence there, I was really hoping and nervous myself inside. But we got there. This little girl gets on, off so many times, and suddenly that tremble in her lips turned to a big smile. And the next thing then, I start leading her around, and about half an hour later, I've unclipped and she's riding again. She's following me around the gardens and jumping on and off, and you know what? It was just amazing for everyone involved. I mean, Mom was crying, and Dad came down, and all of that was great. He was so chuffed. So yeah, everyone was, the sense of achievement for me and Tanya was high. Everything was great. I couldn't explain. It was one of those visits. So then it's tea, cakes, hugs all round, pack my little kit bag up, and we're off. And just as I'm going, Mum says to me, this little girl's mum said to me, and she was she was lovely. She said, I might have to book you in for another visit, because you see the little companion pony there. Now there's a 2-year-old little paint pony. She said the story is we rescued that pony. She was emaciated, on death's door, rescued it, and then as time went on, very expensive feed, supplements, care. Suddenly, there's a 2-year-old that's very, very, very well and saved, but there's issues. Obviously, the kindness has been there, and the emphasis has been on actually saving that horse's life, really. And things had been missed, understandably, I fully understand. And suddenly this horse runs through you, this little pony runs through you, has no idea about hierarchy, and it's turned into biting. And, you know, his owners, they're very, very kind people, but that doesn't mean anything really to this little pony who's now experimenting and not sure about what he's supposed to, how he's supposed to act around people. And I was so pleased with everything that's gone on. I said to Tanya, we'll have to just ring the next people and just say we'll be a little bit late. So I grabbed the lead rope and I said, let's just see how bad it is, see if it needs a visit. And that's what you see here. I wish I'd have had my boinging stick with me because maybe I've done it a little bit differently. But in the moment, you will see how troubled and lost this little pony was. And it was an accident waiting to happen. So you be the judge, guys. Was I too firm? Was it necessary to stop this behaviour right there, right then? Because I know it was snowballing. I could feel that. And there was injuries coming. I mean, it's plain to see that. So Tanya's grabbed the camera quickly. Here's the little clip, and you make your mind up. This is me trying to change this little pony's idea of human beings, really. Not forward, not forward. Move back, feet up a bit more than that. I'm going to do this a little bit because forward, not forward, not forward, not forward. Learn how to back. Not forward, not forward, move back up, right. Stop. Now I'll quickly point out, although I'm saying the same thing, they're not repeated clips. These are all clips of this young horse just moving in through me and not wanting to give me any space or yielding to me at all, which was a root of the dangerous sort of behaviour that's starting to materialise with the owner. So yeah, all different ones, and Tanya did actually drop her phone, so it's all like a little bit mushed up. But you'll understand how bad this little pony is from the clips. Not that, not that. You got to yield. You got to yield. That's it. So I'll do. Stop. Good. So I'll have them on about 4 foot. Yeah, at 4 foot, and then step my foot back. See my foot step back?
It's his nose, spatial awareness, just comes into you and it just wants to do...
Well, he's not used to in a person's presence backing up, so that's what that rearing is. He's not used to yielding.
No, but that's the problem. Now that he's well, whilst he was a 90-year-old in a 2-year-old's body, everyone was like, oh, it's okay, we'll love you. And,
yeah, well,
and now he's well.
That's the worst thing for a horse, pony. You know, the kindness side of it, sometimes it's too much, and it teaches them the wrong thing about us. And then it can get dangerous. You said he bit you the other day.
Yeah.
So, see how I'm starting to free his feet off it here? You see that working? And this is where the level of firmness has to come up a little bit to get rid of where he was in his mind. If he didn't yield to an alpha horse, what would the alpha horse do? He would really, really kick him. You've got to be the alpha now, and kind. The kindness you don't show any problem with. You're very kind. But you've got to maybe a little bit more. Come on, I want my space. He would never think about, after my little session now, he would never consider biting me, ever. Because I'm alpha. They don't bite an alpha. So he's a little bit not sure with you to even think about biting you. And
it's when I was putting the head collar on.
Yeah, well, you know, that could end up being a bad bite. So, okay, so come this way. Now I'm going to soften Now that's kind of sorted out. Step back. Tell him how good he is. Yield straight away. Tell him how good he is. Alright? Now, I'm going to ask him to move his hindquarters around. He did that nicely. He's lovely. Back up. Beautiful. But tell him how good he is. Take his hindquarters around. Lovely. Stop. Back up. Oh. But again, the soak, you have little, because he picked himself up then said, I've got you. You got to just think about that for a second. Get his attention. You see how he wondered then for a second? Yeah. So that's good. Okay. Now we'll see if we can get him to take a foot forward. Right. So I'll see if I can get a forward motion, yeah? Now. Took a forward step. You see how just eventually it's a full lunge. You can just keep asking. But with a 2-year-old, what I'm doing now is going to change him, you know? He's going to, you know, with your work as well, he'll be so polite and move where you want to move and not think about biting you and not come into your space unless, look, the difference is this, right? The difference is that I've allowed that. They separate that out, yeah? But now that's enough, so, yeah? We move their feet, they never move ours, right? We can invite them in, they don't come in to our space unless we invite them. An alpha horse will never allow another horse into their space unless it's in their interest, like a scratching each other. They'll allow that, but they won't allow, right? Attention on me. So, again, forward motion. Shouldn't mean anything, this flag, nothing, unless I change my intention. I'm going to look at the feet, my arm will go out. I'm going to just keep rocking this till those feet go forward. You can build on this. Is things you can practice. All I'm asking is a feet forward at the moment. That will lead into like get in the trailer, go in your stable. I want to see how lame you are today. Let's see how, you know, you've got to be able to. This is the start of lunging. Now I know you said his only purpose really is a rescue and this, that and the other. He could have a purpose in life. You could get a little saddle for him and have to get him so he can be ridden. What a great little riding horse for somebody. When he's only 2, he'll be able to carry easily. Do you agree with that? So he could have a purpose and pack some little kiddies around for you or whatever.
Little cart.
Oh, yeah.
Anything.
Lovely
So
cart, isn't he?
I'm going to
Yes.
clock for forward.
Okay.
Right. So look, my intention. So that was hardly anything, and we had a step forward. Right. Stop. Look. Back up. Look at this. That rearing will stop. You'll probably, if you practice what I'm showing you here, probably never rear again. The problem is he's so not used to yielding.
Yeah, it's
In
not-
his mind, his back end locks up, and all they can do is go up. So, and there he is, guys. There he is, earlier rearing. Can you see how his back legs are all locked up? Because he doesn't know yielding to a person exists, because in their world they don't yield to less than an alpha, and that's why he started biting. In his mind, you know, we're not his leaders. Attention on me, thank you. Around a human, he's getting unlocked, but unlocking is the difficult bit. Right, so look, intention now, it's a different side. Remember, you're dealing with 2 horses with every horse. A horse with a different name on the left to the right. And you'd laugh yesterday. I was really quick for the first time in a long time.
You was.
What did I say, Tanya?
You said this is Luna and this is Lunatic on the side. And I said, did you just think about that quick?
Right, look, my intention, look. Now, because we've got 2 sides, I'm looking at those So I had a forward step and I've released. Stop. Look at this little thing. Huh? Little soak. Now did you notice then it was like going back to the other side? Different eye, different intention. Okay, so now my intention is go, cluck, find it, yeah. Stop, back up. My intention, not into me. You see how I stopped that into me thing? And I often play these in slow motion because people miss it. There he's coming forward through me, which he thinks he should do. He shouldn't yield to me. He's still not clear. And that's why I shook the rope and told him, black and white,
Okay,
no. He came towards me then and I just put my hand up and said, no, you don't come through me. Yeah, so look. There, forward. And I always step my foot back in the early stages. Back up, look at the feet. Right, go forward. Go forward, good deal or bad deal. So we went for the bad deal. Now I would not stop this until he goes willingly. Last thing you do is the first thing they learn. So I'm still having to, yeah, I want him to go at the ask. Right, so now look, intention, forward, almost there, next time it should be a lot better. Right, go, right, so we've just gone from really having to ask him to move forward to almost nothing. You know what, for the first little session I wouldn't do any more than that because he's finishing on a good note. It's the very start. I'd have probably only done half that if it was my own and I wasn't stuck for time. Are you pleased with that?
Yeah, that's lovely.
Is that what you were looking for?
Absolutely brilliant.
And look at him, look at the look on his face. I can't,
always looks like that.
famous last words, I can't imagine him biting me now.
Said now he's well, he went.
He's not sure where he is on the totem pole with you. That's their nature.
Yeah.
When they play together, it's all about their play is all about who owns the best grass to feed the water. It's so I'm happy with that. I'll bring him back in now. And that was kind of the end of my visit, and what a great visit it was, the whole thing. In the end, I wasn't late for the next job, which was a good thing. But yeah, what difference did it make, guys? Massive. Now, before I did leave, I watched the owner take the two horses down to a paddock, which, before my visit, I had great difficulty doing that. They would kind of jump through her and whatever, and she did absolutely fantastic. She stopped them both on the way down, backed them up, totally different, very respectful horses leading to the paddock, and she was absolutely overjoyed. So what a great visit in general. And what I can tell you is I was very black and white there, and I've learned that horses do not like shades of grey. They can even be fearful of grey. And that little pony there, you could see it in the expression. He's saying, thanks for telling me. Thanks for clearing that up for me. And now he knows how to be. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. Judge yourself whether you thought I was too firm. I know in my mind that needed to happen and that there was no harm come to the horse. I don't think there's ever been a true saying, and I learned this very early on, 30 years ago. I heard it, and after thousands of horses that I've worked, there's that saying, be as gentle as you can be, but as firm as necessary. And there's never a truer saying in my world of horses than that. Be as gentle as you can be, but be as firm as necessary, and always with a smile on your face. Now, when we started Steve Young's Horsemanship off with the sort of media thing in the videos, I think that's about four, maybe 5 years ago. It hasn't been that long really, out there, as they say. We made a decision that we would not hide anything in the videos, be transparent, not edit all the ugly bits out, because there is ugly bits when you're working with difficult, dangerous horses. And we said we wouldn't do that. And whether that's why we've done so well and become so popular in a lot of circles, maybe it's that, or if we'd have edited and kept everything that's a little bit risque out of the videos, would we be 10 times more popular? But we decided we would show everything, and that's what we do. Now, by doing that, we open ourselves up to criticism, because we do show the reality of horse training, which, you know, I'm not picking on anyone in particular, but across the board, there's an awful lot of trainers that click out all the little bits that might make lower their popularity. And it's a real shame, because, you know, the truth is, you do have to firm up with horses, you know, to make a change. And, you know, I know a lot of people will say, take the time it takes. And that is true. If you've got the luxury of time, go slower, but there's still a need to firm up as necessary. Now, in this video, there's some bumping, there's some tapping with the end of my flag. And to be honest, guys, if anyone thinks that's abusive, and there will be those people, it's in my world quite ridiculous to say, when you see horses, the way they interact with each other, and I mean, they get very physical with each other. Doing what I do is kind of I'll quote Buck Brannaman here, one of the people I learnt loads from. Buck Brannaman often said, because he would firm up in clinics, and, you know, and I learnt a lot from that. You know, he would say, it's like hitting a horse with a sock. And that stuck with me, and they can't hardly, I mean, they'll kick each other so hard, it would probably kill us. And then horses will just go, and carry on eating. And then they'll be scratching each other 10 minutes later. So that puts into perspective, it doesn't matter what we do really, as far as the bumping, tapping with a stick, whatever. That is nothing to a horse. It's more the suggestion from us that makes the change. It's not the actual strength, that's nothing for a horse. Now, for firming up with the horse, okay, as they say, he is the kicker. You can only firm up with the horse like you watch me do and other horsemen do now and again when they put the truth out there. If you're in over your head, the horse is going to know it. If the horse intimidates you, the horse is going to know it. And if you don't make that change, then things can be a whole lot worse and become even more dangerous. So if you're a little bit in over your head when you come to firm up with a horse, then get professional help. I always say, don't try to emulate what I do if you haven't had the experience. If it involves kind of danger, you know, get help. And I always tell people that, without a doubt, get help if you think you're not going to be able to come through with a good change. And remember, there's history with a lot of people and their horses. So they've had 2 years of being bowled over and pushed into and maybe bit, nipped. That horse knows who you are. He knows exactly who you are. And to make a change, sometimes it's another horseman that has to come and do that, then train you to a certain extent to be a better leader, and then it can go forward. So be careful, that's my warning. Now, as Charlotte and James and Tanya said, when we decided to leave everything in these videos, we do open ourselves up, and what did the kids say? What do they call them? And we get these comments, it's so ridiculous, a lot of comments, but they call them Karens, Facebook and YouTube maniacs, what other things, the feelings police, just all sorts of things, and Messiah and Guru followers. I think a lot of people know what I mean by that, who really don't show anything of substance, and it's very much talk, you know, but unfortunately they are a minority, but they'll still attack people online like myself with these comments that are absolutely ridiculous. Now, a lot of people will say, take the time it takes, I mentioned earlier, and that's absolutely true, and I take my time on my own horse at the ranch here. But the world we live in is not the ideal world when it comes to time. We're in a chaotic world where time is a luxury that a lot of people don't have. And for me to be able to go around and help people, I don't have the luxury of time. and they don't either. So I have to shortcut, and that's the nature of the beast, as they say with my world. I have to go and shortcut. So mentioning take the time it takes is ridiculous, because I have to get a job done fairly quickly, and I can in most circumstances. I do shortcut, but there's a reason for it, and the world demands that. And if I can leave a horse in a better place, yes, it's never finished. There's always work to do. I only put the start on my visits, like what you've just seen me with the 2-year-old there. I mean, that was a dreadful situation. That's why I added on to the visit and helped that horse. There was I had to do something. That was terrible. You saw it pushing on me. Now that pony's well, that could really hurt. I mean, it started biting and pushing people down and stuff. So, you know, I don't know how you can really blast that, but people do. So, you know, just know that when you say these things, how ridiculous it is. Now, I don't want to go bashing here, but sometimes you have to say your feelings. And I go to a lot of places where there's people who follow, like I say, Messiah type, guru type horse people, and they see a lot of talk, really, and horses, see them working with horses which are very gentle horses. Now, do you ever see these people actually work with a genuine difficult in the moment horse, one that's dangerous, and try to help that? You don't see that. You won't see that. And that's where the reality of what my world is. It's real. It's not all talk, it's real. And I just would like people to know that. Be careful who you follow off the edge of a cliff, really, because a lot of my work is going and working with horses where people, through feelings, have followed other methods and tried to reinvent the horsemanship wheel. And in almost all cases, it doesn't work, and it's certainly not good for the horses. And in some ways can be called abusive in some ways, because then things have to be put right, and people who have to do the putting right is not usually the owners that have followed these new wave ideas. So back to this video, and then I'll be gone. There's no abuse here, absolutely no abuse. There was a need in that moment to change a thought pattern, to shift a thought pattern away, and that's exactly what I did. And I can tell you now, that pony said thanks for being so black and white and for being so clear, and I feel better in this world now. They're so lost, a lot of these horses, and they're begging to know where things, how they should react around us, because they don't know what's right or wrong. And that's exactly what I did here. No abuse, guys, just plain horsemanship, and then everyone can get along better and more safely. So back to the video. So that's the horse bit finished. If you want to stay on for a second, it's only another 1 minute, you might have a bit of a laugh. Now, while I'm making this video, Tanya's down the beach, because we've come away for a few days to Old Denise in Turkey, Tanya's favourite place. Basically, she thought I needed a bit of a break. I've took a few tumbles lately, not getting any younger, quite badly bruised down my one side. So we've come away just for a few days, and what a fantastic few days we're having. Now, I'm actually in the hotel room now. I can't do the beach thing for hours like Tanya. She's a sun worshipper. So I'm doing a video, and I've just had a message come through from a phone where she's on the beach, and I think you might laugh at this, and this just shows you a little bit of the banter that we have. So I'll show you the messages for a second now. So there's this trend, isn't there, with the feet and the beach, and I'm hard at work here in the hotel room. I thought, what a great idea, send my yucky feet picture to her while I'm in the hotel. No, I bet she spit her drink out, guys, because she sent this message laughing. This is the actual message she sent me. So she obviously found that funny. And then, look at this, guys. That's my favourite drink there. Pina colada. She's obviously got one of those brought down to her on the beach. So I think I'm going to wrap this up now and head down there and have me one of them. It's a lovely place here, Old Denise in Turkey, and the weather's beautiful. Not too hot, just perfect, ready for when we get back next week and the diary blasts off again. So yeah, until the next one, guys, happy trails. If you got something out of the video, you enjoyed it, yeah, put a like and a comment and subscribe if you can, that'd be great. So